It is Sunday morning, and you know what that means. It's time for the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. Week 2 for the Browns. Boy, couldn't get much worse than last week, kids. Okay? We're going to get over that. We're going to get ready for Browns versus Jaguars. All the fantasy football start sits, including hashtag Ask Andy. And one of the premier NFL betting experts joins me to help fill out your card for this Sunday slate. Let's get right to the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, the sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Shabba-lubba hub.
It's gonna be sick.
All right, everybody, after the hype, the excitement, the waiting, the ready for the season opener last week was a dud. We covered on Tuesday's show. Gone. Out. Goodbye. We're ready to roll to Jacksonville. And make no mistake about it. This is a pivotal must-win, not just for the Browns, but for the Jaguars. Because here's some interesting stats that we'll get to in a moment about teams that start 0-2 and where the Jags are at also. This isn't just a must-win for Cleveland. Get to the fantasy football, some start sits, some injury reports. Get to your hashtag Ask Andy questions for this week 2 in fantasy football. Make sure you can get them in. You can follow on Twitter at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81. Use hashtag Ask Andy. Get it in there. Instagram too, at AndyMCSports. And of course, hey, don't forget, click subscribe notifications on to the show right here on YouTube. And you can get your comments in right here. We'll have the comment tab open, and we'll be ready to rock and roll right here on the show page. We'll get that up, and anybody in, hey, jump in, say hi, give me your predictions. You got betting questions, too, for Joe Madden, who is going to join me from Sports Grid. You remember her from last year. She joined me for several episodes. Joe is phenomenal, and we're going to put together, well, I'll save it for when Joe comes on. But Team Jandy is back, baby, and we're going to put this on a really aggressive sports bet. Okay, we're gonna get a little nuts here, but we're gonna roll through some of the 1 o'clock games, big games of the week, and get you ready as this week goes on. But click, like I said, click subscribe, notifications on. We are up and rolling, and get those questions in at AndyMC81. Hashtag Ask Andy for fantasy football, Browns questions, etc. Now, this is what I wanted to bring in here because this is interesting. First of all, the Browns injured reserve. In case you haven't heard, this is what we need to prepare for going forward. Safety Juan Thornhill out again. Same calf apparently as last year. So Juan Thornhill is going to miss at least 4 games. He might never be right here. I'm not too concerned with the safety position as it stands now. Ronnie McLeod's still there. Ronnie Hickman did a phenomenal job filling in last year along with Anthony Bell. So as long as Grant Delpit and McLeod stay there with Hickman, I think the safety position is okay. So I'm fine with that. And we got linebacker Mohamed Diabate, standout from the preseason last year. He's injured. That's a tough break. Linebacker Tony Fields, reserve guy, had a big play last year, and special teamer. He's out for 4 games. Defensive tackle Maurice Hurst and rookie cornerback Miles Harden, all on the IR. Now, someone who's not on the IR, but definitely missing this weekend, probably longer, is David Njoku. That's the biggest hit, Browns fans, okay? And like that field at Huntington Bank Field in Cleveland last week, that was weird. Like, people were slipping all over early on, and it was odd. Like, remember Njoku caught the ball, looked like he had 10 yards in front of him, slipped. He's out with a knee injury. They thought maybe high ankle at first. It's not high ankle. It's going to be a knee issue. So forever how long he's out, we're not sure. But he's definitely missing this week. And that puts the Browns which was a curious roster build by Andrew Berry that we talked about right after the final cuts, was you only had 2 tight ends on the roster. Well, you're down 1. You got Jordan Akins. They might bring up Jeff Swaim, 10-year veteran from the practice squad. He played with the Cowboys. Apparently, Kevin Stefanski had talked to his people and was going to recruit him to come to Minnesota when he was tight ends coach years ago. But then the Cowboys took him in the 7th round. He's got like 100 career catches. It's like 10 a year. This is a blocker, right? Which I'm fine with. You know, this is something I think we should keep an eye on for real life and for fantasy purposes. And it all relies around how Deshaun Watson plays. Good Lord. Right? Okay. Who knows how that's going to play out. But Cedric Tillman, the guy, I got 2 of his rookie cards up there. 2 autographed rookie Cedric Tillmans. Big receiver. Willing blocker. Aggressive blocker. This is something without David Njoku, the Browns could not put him in a tight end position, but really spread out those wide receivers and use Tillman sort of as that bigger body Njoku type and put him in. So could be an interesting day for Cedric Tillman to be used. I'm not saying put him on your fantasy team yet. I'm just going to watch him, see how it goes. Could be an interesting ad just to keep in mind for Cedric Tillman there. Now, this coming from our friend Tony Grossi of ESPN Cleveland. 0-2 starts, okay? So Browns 0-1, Jags 0-1. Since 1970, less than 10% of the teams that started 0-2 made the playoffs. 40 out of 416. Houston did it last year. Cincinnati did it in 2022. But it's like not even one a year. So starting 0-2 is crippling, especially in the Browns division, which is so tough, right? Now, what would be interesting is like, if Cincinnati and Baltimore went down 0-2, how does that look? That'd be pretty interesting. And and the Jaguars have lost 5 of their last 6 since last year. Remember, they blew that big division lead, and the Browns beat Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, but Trevor Lawrence had a high ankle sprain, was playing through it. Jaguars let up that big lead last week, 17-7. They were up on Miami, let that slip away. So now we're looking at this team and thinking, okay, well, you should be able to beat the Jags, but it's a good team. You got to get up on them early. You got to make them feel uncomfortable. You have to make them in front of their home crowd, which is not rabid. That's why they play in London so much. It's not a rabid crowd in Jacksonville. Actually, I think it'd be a pretty nice road destination. You're in Florida. Our buddy Grant Gillen from Canton, Ohio, is in Florida, not in Jacksonville for the game, but says the humidity is 100%. Looks like it's going to be sunny, but it's going to be hot, sticky, 1 p.m. Browns, we know, did not play well in Miami last year. So it might be a little wet, some over, who knows? But it's going to be hot. It's going to be nasty. So the Browns better be ready to play, especially Deshaun Watson. I'm not quite sure what to expect of that. Soda Popinski says, where's Joe? Joe's coming, brother. Joe's coming at 10:15. Joe's going to be on in 6 minutes, Soda Pop. There you go. Where's Joe? And Soda Popinski, phenomenal, from the original Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Remember on the arcade, it was like Vodka Drunkinski, and then for Nintendo, they changed it. So Joe's going to be on in a minute. I'm not going to go through Deshaun Watson's passer rating anymore. This guy's got to show up. He's got to figure it out. We know the allegations. Does he show up? Can the team carry him? Can they lift him up like last year when the defense stepped up? Defense played bad on the road last year. Can you step up? Be aggressive. Jim Schwartz was saying all the right things this week. Can this defense get mad and make a statement? And that special teams has to be better too. And that running game was non-existent. You can only go up from here, we hope. We know as Browns fans, you never say it could never get worse because it usually can. So Browns, Jaguars. My prediction, you know what? I'm going to be optimistic. I think the defense lifts the Browns up. Deshaun Watson is not great, but not terrible. And the Browns kind of grind it out. I'm going to say 17-13. 17-13 Browns. Maybe you get a nice couple defensive stands, a nice punt return or something, and you do that. That's where I'm going. That's what I think is going to happen. 17-13. Let me know your Browns predictions. Vodka Drunk Kids guy. I know Soda Pop. That was real. That was real on the arcade, not the Nintendo. They wouldn't have that. And then, of course, they changed it after Mike Tyson went to jail to Mr. Dream on that one. Okay, so that's some Browns, Jags. We'll swing back a little bit later on. I want to get into our fantasy football look ahead here. Now, we get ready. Some injuries of note at receiver. Joshua Palmer for the Chargers. Joe's a big Chargers fan, too. We'll talk to her about that. Listed as questionable for Sunday due to a knee injury, is tracking to play versus the god-awful Carolina Panthers. I've been saying before this Palmer injury, you light yourself up some Lad McConkey today, folks. Okay? Light him up. McConkey in the lineup. I had him in. I've been talking high about this rookie all offseason, even before he was drafted. McConkey with the lack of weapons and not 100% Palmer against Carolina? Let's go. Light him up. I got Herbert in there. I do a stack there, pop in a little J.K. Dobbins, sprinkle him in. Hell, maybe even a little Gus Edwards anytime touchdown. Just feast. feast on those Panthers. This is where you load up on fantasy football. Just get that done. Also, Jameson Williams, listed as questionable for Sunday due to an ankle injury, is also expected to play versus the Buccaneers. Tua is going to be out for a long time, as we know. That was pretty scary. Jamar Chase is going to play, but he said he's no plans to negotiate a long-term deal. Bro still has 2 years left on his contract, his rookie deal. Come on. Jamar Chase getting greedy. Other injuries here. Let's see. Oh, this is important. A.J. Brown. Monday Night Football injury intrigue. This is coming from Adam Schefter. This week, Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown is listed as questionable due to a hamstring injury that tightened up on him during Friday practice. So remember last Monday when CMC, a scratch because of injury? I hope anybody who didn't pick up Jordan Mason, I'm sure he's gone from your waiver wire, but I was able to get him in one league. That's your hottest waiver wire pickup of the week there with Jordan Mason. That guy, I love the Shanahan thing because you just get a handcuff and the guys light it up. It's amazing. What do we got? Joseph Arasatano. Hey, Andy, I got a question for my full PPR. Okay, Joseph, let's get to it. Hashtag Ask Andy. Get the questions in. Twitter as well, at AndyMC81 at SickPodBrowns. Joseph, what do we got? Hey, Andy, I got a question for my full PPR league. I'm debating between starting RB Robinson Jr. and Travis Etienne. Also a wide receiver between Cooper and Terry. So Amari Cooper or Terry McLaurin. I'm imagining that's who it is. Cooper, yeah. Unless you mean Cooper Kupp. If it's Cooper Kupp, Joseph, Cooper Kupp. If it's Amari Cooper, I'm going to say Terry McLaurin. I know Gene Daniels and it's the rookie and it's throwing, but I cannot trust a Browns offense. I can't. The only things I trust on the Browns today for fantasy is the kicker and the defense. I can't play anybody else. So I'll say Terry McLaurin. Running back, I'm going to say Brian Robinson Jr. This is a game against the Giants that Washington, Daniels is going to run. It's going to kind of be ugly. I think Robinson Jr. gets him in. I actually have Robinson Jr. as part of a six-leg anytime TD touchdown. So that's where I'm going. Producer Jimmy, pop up a couple of the Twitter questions here if you don't mind. Hashtag Ask Andy. This one, our guy Thunderwolf at TWolf1979. Fantasy football decision I need help with. PPR 2 flex for flex spot number 2. Gus Edwards versus a terrible Carolina defense and J.K. Dobbins on the team, or Brock Bowers versus a very bad TE coverage team in Baltimore. So normally, like 9 times out of 10 for this question, I'd say Brock Bowers, right? But do I trust Gardner Minshew against that Baltimore defense? Not really. And again, you're going up against the Carolina Panthers. I see this game as happening as Chargers get up early, and then you just ground and pound it. Dobbins, Edwards. So as long as Edwards gets a touchdown, I think that's the play. I would say Edwards there. Let's get to another one, then we'll bring on Joe Madden. Another Twitter question here. Hashtag Ask Andy from our guy at ThatX, Ruan Griff. Hashtag Ask Andy. Hi, Andy. I'm starting Malik Neighbors, expecting him to have a big game. So Giants versus Commanders. But at QB, I'm thinking of starting Daniel Jones over Caleb Williams. Is this crazy? Oh, the rare 2024 Giants fantasy stack question. Oh, boy. Oh. You know what? Caleb Williams put up 93 yards last week, and the Bears won because of their defense and special teams. Daniel Jones can still get you some points on the ground. Commanders aren't great. Oh. You're making me do a Giants fantasy stat. I'm going to do it for this question. I'm going to do it. Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors. Sure, let's go. I think this game's going to be down and dirty. Other quarterbacks I would rather play this week: Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, certainly Justin Herbert. He was still around. He was rostered, I think, just 66% of most rosters. I'd rather Geno Smith at quarterback as well, if he's there. Soda Popinski, is this cast on Spotify? I don't know, Jimmy. Is it? I don't know. I'll ask about that, Soda Pop. I know YouTube. I know we're streaming on Twitter as well. But I'll ask about that one, brother. I'm not sure. So a couple other quick starts for you, and we'll bring on Joe I want to get to. And then we'll swing back after we have some betting talk with Joe Madden on some fantasy football sites. So you can still get those questions in. Just a couple ones to keep in mind. So Jordan Mason, running back, we know he's probably gone by now. Justice Hill, I like. He was only 4% rostered earlier in the week. Had 6 catches on 8 targets, rushed once, 11.5 fantasy points in PPR. Now that was against the Chiefs. playing the much more beatable Raiders. So Justice Hill could be an interesting play. Alexander Madison, another running back option, 5% rostered earlier in the week, 16.2 fantasy points in PPR. Now you're going against the Ravens, but they're going to be rushing him quick. So he's a nice quick out. He can catch, he can run a bit. So I like Madison. And tight end, if you didn't get Isaiah Likely, Colby Parkinson is I won't say a nice option, but boy, that waiver wire gets so thin at tight end for the Rams. And he's really the only one getting any touches there. So there you go. Wide receiver, Demarcus Robinson, I like for the Rams. With Puka Nacua going to be out, estimated 5 to 7 weeks now. So Demarcus Robinson as that number 2 guy being brought up. Nice ad there. And Brandon Cooks is another option for us at that point. And folks, DraftKings Sportsbook, okay, this is where you're going to make and place your money this week. TD Tutty, take you to the house, whatever you call a touchdown. They matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score a touchdown. Right, you can get a Jerome Ford plus 135 touchdown today, for example. And when we look at this, it's you make your bet, you're ready, you're having fun, and you use your Sick Sports code. DraftKings Sportsbook app now. You go use the code Sick Sports, all one word. New customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. And boy, we'll get to some more betting options, some parlays, and all that, and more from DraftKings in a little bit. We'll swing back as well. Get your fantasy football questions in, so you can keep them coming. In the what did Michael say? 30 other QBs to consider. Michael said for the fantasy football question, 30 instead of Daniel Jones. I know. But out of those two, I'd rather Daniel Jones and Caleb Williams today. And like I said, Baker, Geno Smith, Herbert, Stafford, all on the line. Okay, we've made you wait long enough. It is the
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
There we go. Hey, DraftKings jumped in. They interrupted me. That's okay. We'll get. You got to be safe. You got to be ready. You make those bets. We have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun right now with the reuniting, long overdue of Team Jandy. It is Joe Madden at Joe Madden Sports on social from Sports Grid TV. So excited to have Joe back on the show. Joe, she's from Calgary. She's ready. Hello. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing this morning? It's great to be back here with you.
Oh, love it. Thank you for coming on. We've been trying to arrange it. We got you on here, and look, this is an exciting week. We're week 2, and anybody who doesn't follow at Joe Madden Sports, you have. I love your in-game parlays, your bets. Like, you're just such a fun follow, and we're gonna bring that today. How are you feeling after week 1?
I'm feeling pretty good after week 1. You know, I think a lot of people are going to overreact to some of the performances we saw in week 1, and you have to take that out of your mind. Yeah. What you felt going into this season about some of these teams that you really have to come back to in week 2. And I think there's opportunities to make some money as the books overreact, as the public is jumping on a couple of these teams, laying all of those points. So it's going to be an interesting one today to see how everyone fares, because favorites have been doing phenomenally strong. And you know, I hate betting favorites, Andy.
Yes, I know. And we're going to do, I figured with Team Jandy back together, Joe, finally. Okay. I figured, let's get nuts. Let's do the George Costanza. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. We're going to do a 10-leg parlay for 1 p.m. games. All winners. We're going to pick all 10 here and get nuts with this. Let's start with my Cleveland Browns. Against the Jags. Like, Joe, you saw like everybody else. I don't know what that new offense was, but apparently it was not scoring points and looking terrible. That was the game plan, and it succeeded. Versus the Jags, both teams don't want to go down 0-2 and need this win. How are you looking at this one?
My problem here is I can't trust Deshaun Watson to be able to move that ball. You look at him in week 1, 45 passing attempts. And do you know how many yards on 45 passing attempts he had, Andy? He only had 169. How is that even possible that he wasn't able to move that ball further? I struggle here to back the Browns. I know this is a strong suit for the Browns to be able to bounce back. Trends point towards backing them, but I just don't know if I can get there. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, they played a competitive game. I like Trevor Lawrence. I like what he's able to bring to the table. Travis Etienne as well is so strong out there. I just think this is a Jags game, and I think the Browns have the defense, but I just can't trust offense on this one. What do you think?
Well, I always find like at plus 142, and we're getting Jags 3-point favorites, which at home, that's pretty much a wash. I'm going to take the Browns, but I can't trust myself, Joe. That's my team. Okay. I can't trust. I'm going to lean to your impartialness on this one. So I'm going to do a separate bet just on the side. I'm taking Browns plus 142. But for the purposes of this ticket, for our 10-leg parlay, should we put the Jags in?
Well, it makes sense to put the Browns in. It just terrifies me because when you look at the trends, favorites of 1 to 3.5 against the spread in September have gone 43% over the last 20 years. So that does point. The Cleveland Browns should cover the spread here.
Okay. But and I'll give you one other little fun stat. Kevin Stefanski, Browns head coach, after a loss, since he's been Browns head coach, is 21-9. So just something to keep in mind.
Can we tease it and put it in? Can we take them plus 5.5 in your parlay? Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, boom. I got it punched in on the ticket here. Now let's go to your Chargers. And I know if it was me, I would be licking my chops because I know we don't like to go favorites, but Joe, sometimes it's like come on. The Panthers are just so bad that we can't do the Panthers here, right? Your Chargers should for fantasy football. I want to play like all the Chargers for this. Is this a case where when you're betting something where it should be such a dominant effort in my mind, minus 225 for the Chargers? That's not great. Are you taking the spread 5.5? Like how do you bet something that should be so one-sided?
How many survivor picks are going to be sweated out over my LA Chargers today is my biggest question mark, Andy, because this is a team off a divisional game, and now they're having to fly across the country and play an early game. It's a bad situational spot for the Chargers now, which Jim Harbaugh in this team is looking stronger. I'm struggling with the game plan, though. This is going to be a heavy run team before it is a pass team. Justin Herbert with those short passes off. If you watch that game, Justin Herbert isn't looking like the quarterback that I love out there on the field. So I look at this one. Bryce Young looked absolutely terrible. The Panthers completely struggled out there. The Chargers should win it, but I think this is a field goal game. This spread has moved as well. They're only a 4.5-point favorite. Now they were a 6.5-point favorite at opening. I don't know. This one smells of upset here. This could be the upset of the weekend. It really
wow. Oh my gosh. And also look, over under set at 39. I'm with you in that this could be sort of an ugly lower scoring game. Maybe Chargers get up 10-0 and just grind it out and run and keep it low scoring. So where do we want our bet for this one then? The 5.5? Is it the Panthers to cover? Is it taking the under on the 39 straight up winner? How are we working this into our Team Jandy 10-leg parlay today?
The Chargers should win, right? They should be able to come out here and get the win. It's just a terrifying spot, and I think we're going to have to sweat it out. Now, I think we look at the Chargers. I think we look maybe at the Chargers in the first half. This team to come out. It's because I think the Panthers, maybe the backdoor cover is in play for them. So Chargers first half here, laying the points. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a quick start, and then maybe the Panthers, get a little garbage time. I like that. Okay, let's do that. So we'll take Chargers first half points. That's what we'll do. Okay, and for the ticket here, I'm going to put in Panthers to cover there. Okay, so we'll pop that in there. In the chat, we got from one of our fantasy questions, that X Ruin Grit says, I'm also in Calgary, Joe. So we have a Calgary listener listening to you in Calgary there.
Oh,
and
cool.
his fantasy question was for, it's a dynasty league. That's why he couldn't pick anybody, no other options. Doing the Giants stack. Oh, what a world. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now we're doing the other 1 p.m. game. So let's start Raiders versus Ravens. This one in Baltimore. Baltimore 8.5-point favorites. And Joe, when we look at this Raiders team, they're not good, but the Ravens didn't blow anybody away. They should be extra motivated losing to Kansas City. Anytime this early in the season, those 8.5 points, that makes me a little nervous. I don't know if I like that much for the Ravens to win, but I think they win, but I don't know by that much.
Yeah, it is a hard spot here to back the Ravens laying all those points. One thing to note on John Harbaugh here is how strong he is off a bye or extended time. So this is actually 9 days since their last game. I found stats on 10 days or off that bye, 27-8 straight up. So we're sitting at that 9-day mark. He's also 20-13-2 against that spread. So with this being 9 days, it's right on the cusp of that. I don't think the Raiders will look as bad as we saw in that last game versus the Chargers. They normally play the Chargers really strong. Antonio Pierce made some huge mistakes out there on the field as well. And I was not sure what he was doing. So I think they gave that away. I think the Chargers played them more physical in that game, which was shocking to me as well. I think Max Crosby, so phenomenally strong. I think you look at him for that. But I think the Raiders team total is too low in this one. What do you think about betting a team total? They got a team total of 15.5. Gardner Minshew didn't look terrible out there. I think he's a confident quarterback. 15.5 seems low. I think this is a hold your nose kind of game and just bet the number. Take the Raiders plus the 8.5 as well. Right?
Yeah.
It's so many points here.
Team total. I agree. I don't think the Raiders are going to win, but I think they can get over that 15 mark. And yeah, I think cover that 8.5. So let's put that in. We'll add the 8.5 there, and then we can bet that other one. Okay. San Francisco 49ers versus the Minnesota Vikings. Christian McCaffrey is not expected to play fantasy-wise. Jordan Mason, as long as nothing weird happens and he's in there, light up your Jordan Mason, friends. Get him in there. Against the Minnesota Vikings. And Joe, Sam Darnold didn't look as bad as I thought he would, but this is against these.
He for 10 on his first drive. He looked absolutely fantastic.
I know.
Sam Darnold buyer.
But now you're going up against the 49ers.
So we're going up against the 49ers. I don't care. All day. I think they can pull off the upset. Look when the last time the 49ers won in Minnesota. Do you know what year that was? Have a guess.
No. I'll say 92?
92. The last time they won in Minnesota.
Wow.
It's
really?
a crazy place to go in and play.
Plus 180 for a straight up win.
I think in the parlay we take the points, but yeah. Plus 180 with a straight up win is where my money's gone. So
outside the parlay, we'll do the plus 180. I have 4.5 on the Vikings here with the 49ers 4.5 point favorite. So we're going to take the Vikings to cover.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that line movement as well. Money has come in on the Vikings, so you have missed the best of the number. But I think in this one, Sam Darnold has those weapons out there. He went 10 for 10 on that first drive with Justin Jefferson being able to get the touchdown. It was absolutely beautiful. And I was a buyer on him coming into the season. So this isn't an overreaction for me. I think the right coaching for Sam Darnold, he's going to be a competent quarterback there. I think, he's got the short end of the stick, and he's also got that revenge factor. He's playing his old team. He was with the 49ers.
Okay. You know what? Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Look, it's a trip, and it's a case where with Minnesota and the system they are in, as long as Sam Darnold can get that ball out quick, it can be functional. So, all right, we wanted to get nuts. We're going Vikings over 49ers to cover. Saints, Cowboys. Now I saw the Cowboys up close and personal, Joe, last week. Boy, they that defense, they put the boots. That Micah Parsons is a absolute terror. The Saints, let's not get distracted. Derek Carr put up all those fantastic numbers against the Panthers. I think the Saints are a lot more ordinary than they showed last week. And the Cowboys offense, I think with another week, is only going to get better. Cowboys 6.5 point favorites. We have the over-under set at 47, and Saints for an upset are plus 230. How does this one look to you?
We got to lay the points here with the Dallas Cowboys, right? It's going to be an overreaction. A lot of people coming in on the Saints after what they saw last week. But you stated it. You stated who they played, and I don't think they come out as strong. Dallas is so phenomenally strong, especially at home. There's no other way I can go. I would, people are saying lay up to 10. I would open this line as well. I think you ladder it. I think you lay the 6.5, you lay 7.5, you lay 8.5, you lay 9.5, you lay up to 12.5. Andy, I think they dominate in this one.
Love that. Okay, you know what? Separately, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do those points and go up that high. I agree. I agree. The way that they move the ball and the defense, I just feel, again, like Derek Carr and the Saints they're very bland. They're very mid. You know, that team reeks of 8, 9, 9, and 8. That's a nice purgatory play there. Now, we move to the Detroit Lions, hosting the former love of my life, Baker Mayfield, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker, player of the week, Joe. 4 touchdowns. Mike Evans, they're lighting it up all over the place. Can they do it again against the Lions?
No, not against this Lions team and Dan Campbell. You look at Dan Campbell, one of the best coaches the best coach in the last 5 years against that spread. He's been so phenomenally strong. Now this line keeps moving. It's now all the way up to a 7.5. It was a 7, so we're going off that number of 7. But I do think that they can win this one by 8 points. Baker Mayfield, I think, looked better than he will look in this one. We look at the defense. The secondary is so banged up here for the Bucs. I think this is a great prop betting one when you're looking at Jared Goff to go over his longest pass, 37.5. And you look at Jared Goff against the spread, indoors, 26-9. So he's so phenomenally strong indoors, and I think they're able to get it done. He's got so many weapons out there.
Yeah, and Jared Goff's still underrated, right? Yeah. I think he's a good quarterback, man. He's good, and he distributes the ball. Mentioned earlier, Jameson Williams is going to be a game time decision, but they got enough weapons. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown, you got Laporta. You're going to be fine. Okay, so we got 7.5 point favorites for the Lions. The over under 51.5, and Buccaneers plus 295 for the upset, minus 375 for the Lions. So what how are we adding? What are we adding into our parlay here?
Oh, I'm tempted just to lay all of those points here, or do we lay the first half? Do we look for the Lions to come out strong in the first half at home?
Ooh, and you know what? I will say this. Knowing Baker, and he's changed the player, person, whatever. Yeah. But Baker Mayfield from his Browns days would inevitably read his own press clippings. After a really good game, you get a little bit too jacked up, and he comes back down a little bit. So I'm with you. I think you know what? I feel that team's good enough. I think we take the Bucs maybe to cover that 7.5. Like, I don't know if the Lions beat them by more than a touchdown.
Okay.
At home. What do you think about that?
We can do it.
Okay.
7.5. So it's a lot of points there. I think the Lions probably cover the first half.
Yeah.
And then, we see the backdoor cover in the second half as Baker Mayfield makes that last Hail Mary throw down the field.
Makes it down. So we'll take the points on the Lions first half, overall Buccaneers to cover there. Our guy, Michael Pagano, who's a huge Cowboys fan, was just rejoicing in my misery last week, Michael, on the in the chat here on YouTube. Make sure you click subscribe, notifications on. It says lay 10 if you have to on the Cowboys. Yeah, that's what we're saying, right? You were saying up to 12.5, right, Joe?
Yeah, I'd lay up to 12.5. I think they win by 2 touchdowns. I want to go to the 13.5 just to be safe in case there's a missed extra point, but I'll go to the 12.5.
To go up that high. I'm excited. I'm going to do multiples with that. I'm excited about that game. Okay, Colts versus Packers. If you have Jordan Love in that game, totally different conversation. But Joe, you're going to have Malik Willis. And for my money, Malik Willis, I hate to say it, Joe, he's the worst quarterback in the NFL. He is god-awful. He cannot throw. He has thrown 60-plus attempts in his NFL career. 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He is a smaller, fatter, less accurate Lamar Jackson. He's not
a smaller, fatter, less
yes.
Oh my God, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that. Poor guy. He's sitting on his couch right now going, oh, well, I know what Andy thinks of me.
That's right. Malik, look, I'm sure he's a nice fella, but I'm a nice guy too, and I shouldn't be playing quarterback starting in the NFL, Joe, okay? This kills any fantasy. If you're not Josh Jacobs fantasy-wise, I can't play Jane Reed, who's questionable anyway. I'm parking everybody. I'm so down on the Packers with this news without Jordan Love. I can't. I just can't. 2.5 point road favorites are the Colts. With Anthony Richardson only going to get better. I got to take the Colts all day in some capacity. How are you looking at this?
Okay, so we're going to have to find a different way to bet this because I am totally on the opposite page as you. You look at these quarterbacks making a start here, and they actually do phenomenally strong in that first start. It's their second or third game that you absolutely need to fade them. They have that glimpse of looking like a competent quarterback when they first come out. Malik Willis can use his legs as well. We look at Anthony Richardson, and I love what we saw out of him. You saw that huge pass where he didn't even have his foot planted. He kind of slipped, and he still passed at 57 yards. He's going to be a fantastic quarterback. I'm not doubting that. But I look at the Colts and how they couldn't stop Joe Mixon last week. And I do think here you have to look at Josh Jacobs, the running back for the Green Bay Packers, to have a huge day. I am thinking he's going to be able to keep them in this game, and this is still in Lambeau. You have to take that into account. It's such a hard place to play. I love the Packers plus the 3.5. I think they're able to pull off the upset here at home. And it sounds so weird to say the Packers at home as an upset, but I think this is another one that people are going to lose money or their survivor tickets on just betting the Colts straight up to get the win, because I think it's going to be a battle here. I really do. It's only Anthony Richardson's, he's
like 5th or 6th start. Because he was injured last year. And look, I'll say this. I don't know if it's going to click today, but at some point, Anthony Richardson, Adonai Mitchell connection, betting-wise, fantasy-wise, with that deep ball, because he missed Adonai Mitchell a couple times deep, that's going to be just a gorgeous connection. Okay, so we will put Packers straight up win at plus 124, or do you want the points?
No, we got to take the points here, because you're right. The Colts should get the win here because of Anthony Richardson. Like, he's the better quarterback between the two. I think we will see glimpses of hope from Malik Willis out there. I think it's going to be a solid run game for the Packers. Maybe this is an under style game. That total is it still sitting at 41 in this one?
I have 41. Yep.
Yeah, so we could see the under game. I don't think the Packers will put a lot of points on the board. I think it will be focused on that run game, especially with how the Colts couldn't stop the run game last week. I almost think you just put like a touchdown scorer here. Like, do you want to look at Jonathan Taylor for the touchdown? Because I think Anthony Richardson will get him the ball. Or do you want to look at Josh Jacobs here for the Packers? Because I think both of those players should be able to get a touchdown. I feel a little bit more comfortable in the touchdown props in this one. Yeah,
me too. I like the Jonathan Taylor anytime TD. And I think they're going to have to lean on Josh Jacobs. So let's say Jonathan Taylor anytime TD. If you want to do the game, maybe we go that under route too. That's going to be very interesting how that plays out.
Yeah.
Jets versus Titans. Boy, and we talk about bad quarterback play, Joe. Will Levis. Oh my. Should Titans fans be watching a lot of college football to be looking for their next QB?
Yeah, they absolutely should. I cannot believe how bad he looked out there. It just wasn't his day. And I really do think like this is like, so when I talk about Malik, remember Will Levis when he came out for that start and everyone was like, wow, we have a quarterback. Right? Everyone thought the Titans had a phenomenal quarterback there. And then we've seen that fall off. And I think the same thing could happen with Malik Willis. Today, the Packer fans are like, okay, we're good in the next game that he just falls on his face. But I can't back the Titans here. We look here at the Jets. They're coming off a terrible performance. I know it's a short week, but this team should be able to come out strong. They still got Aaron Rodgers. I'm looking for this defense to actually play defense this week. I don't know what happened to them, but any team against the 49ers will look bad in those situations, right? The 49ers so phenomenally strong coming out primetime game. They wanted to be Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. And that's exactly what they did. They schooled Aaron Rodgers out there. Rodgers didn't get upset. If you noticed, Andy, he was calm. He was great with his teammates on the sidelines. We'll see how long that lasts, but they continue to lose. But I do think the Jets have every ability to cover today.
I'm with you as well. Jets. So it's mine. Jets are 4-point favorites there. Yeah, let's hammer that. Let's do that. Yeah. -1 away. I think an anytime touchdown too. If you want to put like Breece Hall, give me a little Breece Hall on that too. That because the Titans defense is good, not great. And if you don't want to put too much on Aaron Rodgers, I think little Breece Hall action there could be nice. We go Patriots, Seahawks. The Pats ruined my survivor pick last week with the Bengals. Thank you very much, New England. Just destroyed it. I'm out. New England taking on a Seattle Seahawks team traveling cross country. We talk about overreactions to week 1. Joe, I got something in my brain saying, I don't know. At plus 145, a Patriots team to maybe squeak out another kind of stinker and beat the Seahawks. What do you think?
Let's go. Seriously.
Let's do it. Plus 140. Oh, we're going Pats.
Yeah.
They're going Pats. Oh my God, what are we doing?
We have to. There's no other way to go. You look at both offensive lines are banged up. I trust the defense here more of the Patriots. We've got two young coaches. I think the Seahawks on the road, right? It's just
that's what I'm thinking.
They're in New England, right? I just don't think the Seahawks can get the win. Geno Smith didn't look great last week, and I know Jacoby got that, but I would look at Stevenson over 59.5 rushing yards for the Patriots too.
What was that for Stevenson? Over how many rushing yards?
59.5 is the number I got this morning.
Yeah, I like that. And the thing is too, what some people, if you're not a Browns follower, what you don't know necessarily is Alex Van Pelt, the new OC of New England, had Jacoby Brissett when he was with the Browns. And Jacoby Brissett is your stereotypical game manager. If you don't have to have him in a shootout or come back, if you get a small lead, he can manage that night. If you have to have him come back, you're done. He's not doing that. But I don't see the Seahawks coming in and blowing them out. And I think Jacoby Brissett can use Stevenson and ride that out nice and easy and get that done. So I like that. Plus 145. Yeah. We're going Pats. Oh, baby. Okay.
Oh, and you know what else is interesting? The short passes off to Hunter Henry, the tight end, his receptions over 2.5 is only minus 130.
Really?
3 receptions. Short pass.
I would take that. Yeah, that's Jacoby's specialty. He's not pushing it downfield.
No. Hunter Henry's a big, strong tight end as well. I love it.
We're going same game We're loading up on same game parlays for Pat Seahawks. I love it. I love the NFL. And last 1:00 game is the New York Giants taking on the Washington Commanders. Oh my. Prison inmate game. minus 1.5. The Commanders are favorites. Fantasy wise, Jane Daniels ran in 2. I love Jane Daniels fantasy wise. Let me take you through my sort of thinking with this. Yeah. The Giants are terrible, as we know. The Commanders are finding their way under a young QB, and you got Daniel Jones, who again is not good, but they're kind of together. Like, I don't know. I could see this one being kind of an ugly game and maybe just a little bit more experienced Daniel Jones getting a road win here. At plus 102, it's not a very exciting game though, but where are you thinking with this?
Okay, so this is going to be the one that's on everyone's corner screen, right? No one's really going to be paying attention to this. Yeah. And the Giants and Daniel Jones can't look as bad. I feel for Daniel Jones. This breaks my heart to see him out there. He throws those interceptions though at minus 140 for the interception. I think there's value there. But I was high on Washington coming into this week, and the more and more I hear about everyone loving Washington, the more I think the Giants are going to have that bounce back week. And we look at Daniel Jones versus teams that he's on an even par with. This is when he excels. This is when everyone's like, oh, Daniel Jones is a competent quarterback. It's against, the big teams that he has those struggles. So the more and more I think about it, even though my money already went on the Commanders because I like Jaden Daniels. You're right. He's phenomenal out there. I've already got him for Rookie of the Year before the line moved. I got him
Me too.
Plus 600. Yeah, right? Offensive Rookie of the Year. Let's go.
Yeah.
But I'd take him for the rushing touchdown. I still think he has to scramble in this game, even though the Washington Commanders don't want him to play that kind of style. So,
yeah, I think
the Giants.
If we're talking same game parlays, I like the Jane Daniels anytime touchdown. I also like a Brian Robinson Jr. anytime touchdown. Absolutely. I think that could be something too. Pop him in, and I'm totally with you. As soon as he was drafted, I was like Jaden Daniels, Rookie of the Year over Caleb Williams. 100% with you. I got him at plus 600 too. I don't know what it's at now. I'm sure it's come down a bit, but.
I heard tons of money came in on him after that first game.
That's why
I'm sure it's not even worth betting anymore.
No. Okay, so we got the Giants plus 102. Let me see here. Okay, so let's say, okay. Okay, kids. All right, we're gonna. I'll take a screenshot of the ticket and we'll post it. A 10-pick parlay. Our 10-pick parlay. $10. A $10 bet wins you $11,567.22. What's up?
Let's go. I love it.
Joe, I'll tell you this. If we win this ticket, all right, here's what we're going to do. If we win this ticket, I'm going to fly you out to Cleveland when I'm down there October 20th, Cincinnati. We're going to do a live show together in Cleveland, and you're going to we'll bring you down, put you up. How about that?
Sweet. That sounds perfect. I've always wanted to go to Cleveland.
I'll tell you, and I might be biased, but it is such an underrated city with stuff to do. The downtown is so fun.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. And we got the hookups. We got our Johnny's Little Bar. we got East Fourth connections. We got Flannery's. It's all great down there. We love it. We love it down there. Okay, man. You know what? Okay, we got that. Oh, I'm so excited. We're gonna, kids. Let's go. Who's with me? That ex Ruin Grid says, be paying attention to this game. Go Jones and Neighbors. Who's betting the 10-legger with me and Joe? In the chat, let me know. Michael's doing it. Come on, that ex Ruin Grid. I know you're doing it. So to Popinski, you want to do it? We're gonna do it, Joe. Okay, I'm gonna place that bet. We're gonna have that stuff there. This is so good. I just hope it's like the worst thing when you do this, and then like the first game, they're all 1 o'clockers, but like the first part, you're like, and then it's over quick.
Yeah. I know. That is absolutely the worst. That's why I love building like sack parlays and touchdown parlays as well.
Yeah.
All of those in.
For some in-game ones. And you know what, Joe? You have, for what we put together here on SportsGrid TV, your own social, you have such great in-game tweets leading up to it. Tell people where they can find you, hear you, see you.
Yeah, just head on over to sportsgrid.com and /watch, and you can find all the places that we're on. I'm on today for 3.5 hours, starting at 4:20 Eastern. So it's going to be a good show. We're going to do all of these afternoon games. So afternoon games live everywhere you can jump in. So it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And you know what? Hey, maybe by that point, we could be $11,527 richer, Joe.
We will be. I feel it. I really do feel it today. So it's going to be a good one. That's for sure. If Daniel Jones and the Giants screw it up.
Oh my gosh. That's, I know.
That'll be a hard one.
Oh, Team Jandy special.
On the Giants. Like, seriously. What was Jandy doing?
What was Jandy doing? Damn it. All right. Joe, let's do this again soon. Thank you so much as always.
Thanks for having me. You guys have a good one. Good luck.
All right. We'll see you later. There she goes. Joe Madden at Joe Madden Sports, SportsGrid TV. Oh, man. I can't wait to bet that one. Okay. So in case the screenshot, because I won't do it during the show here. I'm going to read these out again to you. Okay. So take notes. Everyone ready? Michael says, let's go. Okay. Here's the 10-leg parlay ticket, what we're doing. Okay. So get ready. Cleveland Browns plus 145. So money line Browns. Spread Panthers. Spread Raiders. Spread Vikings. Spread Cowboys. Spread Buccaneers. Under 41 total points for Colts Packers. Spread Jets. Moneyline Patriots. And by God, moneyline Giants. Holy cow. We're banking on Daniel Jones, kids. That's where we're at. That's where we're at in week 2. Oh, I love it. And $10 bet wins us all that. Let's do this thing, man. Okay. Beautiful. That is wonderful. And let me see. Let me make sure I got my reads in here. Then we'll finish off with some fantasy football stuff here. Oh, there we go. Okay. And make sure again to place this. If you're not on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, folks, okay, if you're not on it, this is the time to do it. Use code 6sports, get $200 bonus bets when you've just bet $5. So if you bet $5 on our 10-leg parlay, you get $200 bonus money using code 6sports. So you can get that right in. Just only on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Check that out. This is a perfect time. Pop that in. Use code 6sports, 200 bonus bets. And you just got to bet $5 on it. Let's do this thing. Let's go. Let's do it. And also, if you want to be looking good this NFL season, Browns fan, any team, really, you go to Homage. Our guys at Homage clothes. I've shown you my Otto Graham shirt, my Brown shirt. They have for all sorts of teams. And the clothes are so comfortable. And they're unique. You get really cool, unique type of gear. It's professional. It's an official NFL one. Look, Homage specializes in ultra comfy, high quality looks, repping sports, pop culture, and more legendary moments. Learn more about Homage with the link in the description of this fine show. Okay, let's do a couple fantasy football. Let's see if we got any injury updates here. Any other questions, guys, pop in. Also, our good buddy Lance Reisland, Coach Lance from Cleveland, sent me a DM here on Twitter at AndyMC81 at SickPod Browns, saying Browns must take some deep shots against Cisco on Johnson safeties of the Jags. They are super aggressive and want to help in the run game. Play action should be outstanding today. And Lance, we've had on the show a bunch of times breaking down the film, which I love the deep dive. So this is interesting. So he's saying that the Jags safeties are going to be really aggressive trying to help in the run. So again, the Jags are going to say, Deshaun Watson, go beat us. Now, last week, Cowboys did the same thing. He couldn't do it. This is a perfect case for Watson and the Browns. Get the quick passes. Don't hold on to the damn ball for 4 seconds. I'm gonna throw a brick through a TV. I'm gonna have one of those like plush ones so I don't punch it. If Watson's holding on to the damn ball and running around like a madman again, get rid of the ball. And Stefanski, call the game. Have a guy open. Quick. Boom, boom, boom. Those over-aggressive safeties. Interesting. Okay, let's check out, see if we have any other Schefter plays. I really like Brian Thomas Jr. as well for the Jags. Okay, this from Shefty. It says Packers rookie running back Marshawn Lloyd, listed as questionable due to hamstring injury that prevented him, is expected to make his NFL debut. Interesting. He's a good handcuff to have to Josh Jacobs. I wouldn't play him in fantasy today, but someone maybe you pick up. And yeah, Daniel Jones is going to play there. Nothing too crazy injury-wise. Let's just check out one more thing here just to make sure. We're up and rolling. Yeah, we know Tua. Boy, and how about for fantasy? Oh, how much does that affect Tyreek Hill, Waddle, everybody with Skylar Thompson? Oh, boy. That is rough. Micah Parsons going to wait on a contract extension. Jordan Love for the Packers, is coming from Ian Rappaport, NFL Network, is targeting week 5 for his return from an MCL sprain. There is a chance he returns before that, but week 5 is the target. I know what Joe is saying, guys, but oh my. Malik, is anybody on the Malik Willis train? Just terrible. Michael says in the chat here, how can I lay any coin on Jones and the Giants? I know, Michael, I know you're a Cowboys fan. We have to put our fandom aside. Because look, I think they have a good chance against the Commanders. Like, I love Jayden Daniels, but remember, the Commanders traded all their good defensive players, right? That defensive line for years had like 5 first rounders. It's gone. So I know that might be the one that kills us, but without risk, right? But Jordan Love out. That's just brutal. How come the Packers have not had Ryan Tannehill come in? I'm not saying Ryan Tannehill is the best thing, of course, but like over Malik Willis, please. Malik Willis he's so bad. He's so bad, guys. Like, he's so bad. I might take, you know what though? I might look at what his rushing yards are. Maybe take Malik Willis on if you can get some rushing money on him. Let's see. Running back Christian McCaffrey may need oh wow. Rappaport just reported this. Christian McCaffrey may need as much as 6 weeks to heal from his Achilles tendonitis. Oh, boy. And Puka Nacua on the sidelines until week 9. Oh, first overall fantasy pick, Christian McCaffrey. Let me read that again. 6 weeks. Boy, man, if you got yourself some Jordan Mason, I got him in 1 league only. Light him up. I know, Michael says Tua with a heartbreak. That was rough. Oy. That was real life rough, right? That's bad all around. That's bad. And how the way the Bills looked, who's stopping the Bills in that division? Right? People are talking Jets, Miami. I don't know. That's going to be really rough. Any other fantasy question you want to jump in before we wrap things up here? Let me again just make sure we're not missing anything here. And in case you missed it too, the Browns waived Jalen Darden. Who I thought did well as a punt returner last week. They waived him for some reason. So I have to see who's going to be the returner this week for the Browns. I like Darden. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just looking here for must starts for me, especially with AJ. Look, with AJ Brown being banged up, Devonta Smith. If you had it, in DFS plays, if you're doing any DraftKings DFS, let Devonta Smith get in there. And if you have him, you're probably starting him anyway, but Devonta Smith could have a huge game coming up Monday against the Falcons if A.J. Brown is limited or out. Ramondre Stevenson, we really like. Ladd McConkey with Palmer not 100%. Yes, please. And I think Brian Thomas Jr., I got him in one of my lineups as a flex against the Browns. And look, the Browns defense didn't play as bad as it might seem last week, But I still like him over Alan Lazard with the Jets. Like, he had that big game, but man, that's you're chasing that. And I'm not playing. I have Jaden Reed in 3 leagues. I'm not playing Jaden Reed until Malik Willis either somehow miraculously proves he's a competent quarterback, which I don't see happening, or Jordan Love gets back. I can't do it, which is terrible because Jaden Reed helped me win week 1, 33 fantasy points. What a downer that is. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we got the 10-leg parlay with Joe Madden. Let's ride this together, people. All right. Remember, DraftKings, Sportsbook, 6 Sports. 200 bonus bets if you bet $5. Use the code SICKSPORTS. Let's do it. Go Browns. Go this 10-leg parlay, and let's see. And if you got any other fantasy football questions, hit me up on Twitter, on X, at AndyMC81, at SickPodBrowns, or Instagram, at AndyMCSports. There's a couple other questions that floated in on Instagram. I'm going to answer those privately there. So, well, you'll see them publicly, but I'll answer it off air. But get those questions in there. And let's see what the heck happens between the Browns heading into Jacksonville. Good luck with your bets, with your fantasy. Thanks to Joe Madden, producer Jimmy, and as always, go Browns!
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.